Without further review, I bring you the Dexters. And I didn't know much about these until literally last night. And I walked on into the Puma store. They had a couple pairs of Melos on the floor, and they were size 15. So I got a pair for my dad. And then at the point, I just asked, and the size 15s were only $29, but they were the 2.0s. So I asked, I was like, hey, do you have any size 13s running around? And he said, matter of fact, I got an online return if you're interested. So I said, if it's a size 13, I'm in. So he went back and he looked and looked. Sure enough, he found a size 13. This is in Altoona, Iowa, at the outlet mall. So don't not believe you can't find cool stuff at outlet malls. I find out cool stuff all the time at outlet malls. And I'd tell you, if I was a Bigfooter right now in Iowa, I'd be happy because I saw 17s, 18s, all sorts of big sizes last night. So here's what we got here. We got style code 379330-1. These are the Melo Ball Dexter Laboratory collaboration. And I can tell you I've seen the regular box because I bought it for my dad. And then I've seen this box here. Nike would dub this a concept box or a friends and family style box. I think it's cool that Puma or other brands just naturally put this cool type of advertising on. So I've showed you all around the sidewalls of the box. Now let's take you to the front of the box. And I think this really looks good. Now, mind you, I'm not a huge fan of the Ball family, nor am I a huge fan of Melo. I don't mean to be rude, but he just has a real caveman-y vibe to how he acts and how he looks and functions. But he's one heck of a basketball player, and heck, he has his own shoe for a reason, and I don't. So on the back, we got the old shoe chart size. This is nice, because I remember one time I had an employee named Cracky. He was running around the offices here with a tape measure, trying to measure the bottom of his foot to see what size he was. And I was like, this is a problem, Cracky. And so needless to say, we found Cracky his way. Now, one thing, since we're just talking about shoe sizes here, let's talk about U.S. men's versus UK. Now, the big misconception here is when you get over to, so this is children's over here, this is men's over here. What people commonly misunderstand is UK sizes do not necessarily run in conjunction with US sizes. And what I mean by that is, if you're a 13 in a US, that does not mean you're going to be a 13 in a European shoe. You could end up being an 11.5 to a 12 to a 12.5. It depends on the brand and the taper and the narrowness of the shoe. It's all relative. Now, if you look over here, you'll see the European points. Now, we have the UK standard, then we have the European standard. Now, this is a little misconceiving as well, because what I can comfortably tell you is a 40, and it's all relative where the brand's based too. I'm going to cite that as a side note, but specifically, like, rule of thumb for me is I don't know what they're thinking. A 46 is going to be a 13 men's all day long, and a 47 is going to be a 13.5 to 14 men's all day long. In a U.S. men's. So that's where I'm in a little disagreement about the European sizes. The Japanese size index I haven't had much experience with, so I don't want to comment on. But I can definitely tell you the EU sizes are not accurate. The UK to US is women, are accurate, and EU size net. Set. Just looking right now, it specifically talks about where everything was made as it relates to what portion of the shoe, which I think is pretty cool. So textiles were made in, I'll just give you the breakdown: France, Denmark, India, Netherlands, Great Britain, I don't know, Slovakian something, I don't know, Spain maybe, P, Portugal, SP, SF, I don't know. Anyways, if we looked up those country codes, we'd be able to find out where each portion of the shoe was manufactured. And as you can see, they're basically clumping every single manufacturer's in about the same category. So reading between the lines, it was all made in the same places. More or less a place or two didn't do one or two of these projects. Like for instance, this portion of the other material, you can tell didn't get made in other blocks of the nation, as where this one got made, the textile got made in a ton of blocks of the nation. So now let's dive on into the shoe itself. So with the box design, I think they did a phenomenal job representing the culture. And then also, these aren't just stickers. These are embedded onto the box. And it's a printing. So this is a very expensive box, and I can tell you that because there's different laminates on here. So right here on this sticker, it's not a sticker, but if you feel this textured raised area, that is a different material complex than, let's say, this piece right here. That's gonna feel more textured and raised ink. This is just a smooth, clear logo, and then the Puma is actually embedded into the box, so it's actually a printed color hue within the box. So this box starts off, I know, as corrugate, which is tan in color. Then they're going to whitewash it, which in essence makes the corrugate panels white, which gives it more rigidity. And then they're going to throw the color on it. So, by the way this box is designed, panel, so yes, it is a singular box, and if you can picture this, how it's going through the printing press, you have 2 lanes of full color, and then you have 2 lanes of black and white. And if you take this and you deconstruct this, lay it flat, take this panel, deconstruct it, lay it flat, you'll approximately get half of the box's value or thereabout. Let's just say it's a 60-40 blend. So on the box color right here, so this is printed top and bottom too. So not only is it printed on one side, it's printed on this side and this side. So when the ink's going on this thing, I bet it's just wet as tar. I will tell you the indexing is absolutely spot on. So who's ever doing this print job is doing a first-class job for Puma. But enough about that. Well, real quick, whoever's gluing in this panel too, generally they do a worse job than this. Granted, they could have used a little bit more glue, but this sucker's in there. And what this allows you to do is it's literally just cut through panels on the box, and then it's a clear adhesive backing. And this is like a plexi material, very, very, very thin, maybe a piece of acrylic that has glue all around it. And then what they're doing at the factory is they're running glue beads, glue bead, glue bead, glue bead, adhering, and then running like a pressure roller over the top before the box is actually constructed into this shape. So then to the top of the box, you can see more printing features, and this time the printing feature of this logo and the Puma logo are the same. Dang. Even this is the same, this texture is the same here, but they're using a different font. And then also here, they're also doing another custom. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different cool things going on. And like I told you, the printing is going through and it's printing both sides. I take that back. Depending on what type of press I got, they're printing it in 2 waves. And the reason I say this is because the interior would be cheaper. So what they're doing is they're taking one side of the box and running it through a color palette and a black and white palette. And then that box at the same time on top is only hitting with a black and white palette. So when the box forms together, you're only seeing the color package on the outside, and you're just seeing the black and white on the inside. So now, with that being discussed and designed, let's talk about the amazing sneakers. So this is my first pair of Lamelos, and I can tell you these, maybe after the OG ball shoe incident, they learned their lesson, the whole family, because these have some of the most aggressive heel support, ankle support in them I've rocked in a while. For a low, I would equate this more to a mid-high, but it does indeed rock like a low. So this has a pretty fire colorway in my opinion, and I would tell you guys this is a hyper basketball shoe. So with that being said, you're not going to get any comfort points mobbing deep around town with this bad boy. If you're seen on court and you like mellows, people are going to know this is the Dexter colorway. But I will tell you, on a day-to-day basis, these aren't some bad boys you're going to be running around in. It's not like a Jordan 1 comfortability or like, convenience of ease. These are nice. They do get on and off the foot. However, there's just too much sidewall material in the wrong areas, allowing the cushioning to be way too deep in certain areas for a daily shoe. And I fully respect this being what it is, a basketball sneaker. And my days of hooping aren't over, but nevertheless, I just don't hoop as much. And so if I did, then I would definitely utilize a shoe like this. And then I wouldn't even wear it out. I'd bring it straight to the gym. But these I'm actually going to put on feet, wear around town, and I can swap out the soles to get a better footbed for myself. So without further review, let's talk about the base of the sneaker. So the sole, and I meant footbed, I'm going to change out, not soles. So the soles on these, you can feel the grip. And I will tell you, this is like a traditional basketball style sneak where you're going to get a lot of traction right out of the box. These already feel like they're dipped in some sort of plasti dip material, that they're ready to grip the court and give you an extra 6 inches of jump boost. And then one thing I can tell you, the sidewall finishing on these, and then the adhesive to the actual sneaker is first class. So these sidewalls actually have imprints on them, representation of the actual nitro infusion, but the same vibe from the sole goes into the midsole, and it kind of tapers and trims off. But even in these tapers and trims, these are some pretty aggressive grooves, and there's very minimal creasing. And then even this part right here, this really perplexes me. And granted, you're saying like, oh, there's a little bit of scrap. Hey, give me 1 second and a little toothpick, I'll clean that up. But I really commend Puma for getting this compressed and sealed. And you can see that rounding there on what a nice job they do with getting that adhesive to stick. And so Puma, well done on your toe box glue, my guys. So this is my first pair of Puma, and that's why I was kind of stoked to get this colorway. I don't understand the knot from here or there. I'm not going to judge. Just like the family, I'm not going to judge the whole family, because the kid has a lot of opportunity, and that's why I'm going to rock these, because I think young MB.03 is different, and I think without the father, the other two boys would have done really, 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 really cool, good things. That's all my opinion. So the exterior of this shoe looks fire. We talked about the over aggressive heel and ankle support in them, but then let's finally wrap it up with the material and the tongue. The material seems to be like a neoprene style fabric, and there's going to be multiple colors moving through the shoe with that zebra print. There's going to be 2 laces. The secondary lace, the guy was pretty excited to show me, and since these were returns, I was like just blown away that I was able to get these last night. And I was really tired, and I don't even look stuff up on the X too much before I buy them, because I think that's a dirty move. To each their own. So they did come with some extra laces, so I do think the laces are pretty sick though. I'm not joking there. The tongue itself is really, 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 really good looking. You can see the insignia. And mind you, I'm not in depth with balls, and people are like, yeah, you should follow. I'm just, no. This is just a good looking sneaker. Dexter is represented in a very good way, from the box to the thought process within the box to the embedding on the sneaker. You can see the most, outside of the main sidewalls, the rear is designated to Dexter, the interior is designated, the tongue is designated. And one interesting thing is, when you're not used to having tongue handles to slip your shoes on and off, if you do wear your shoes tied all the time and you just slip them on and off with an aggressive slip on, these work really nice. And then one other thing I will say is, with the arching and the grip of the heel and the amount of support. When you do get these in the right size for you, they are a pretty nice grabbing shoe and fitting shoe. One thing is, from a weight standpoint, they're going to be a little heavy in my opinion, probably by 4 or 5 ounces. And that's all relative. If you're wearing 3 pounds on each foot, you're going to be like, ah. If you're wearing 10 pounds on each foot, you're going to be like, ah. But if you're wearing a ½ pound on each foot, you're going to be like, yeah. And one thing I can tell you is, if you're running like this, it's relative. Force is relative. So if you have a lighter piece moving, less resistance on whatever is moving it. So the lesson of the day, for whatever that's worth. Guys, have a blessed day. I hope you enjoyed this depth review about the Melos, and don't hate on a Melo before you try them. Don't judge the family, and don't judge the dad. The sons are pioneering their own way, and the dad's taking a back seat to exactly what he needs to do, his lifestyle, and let the kids live their lifestyle, which I hope they can continue to do by finding cool contracts like this instead of creating a ridiculous overhyped brand and hurt your son's ankle. Because I don't have much respect for Lavar, however you want to pronounce his name. But cool sneaks. Enjoy the day.